What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday. If I haven't seen you this year, happy 2026. I'm just setting up my environment here, all the windows. Make sure you guys can hear me and see me. Give me 1 second. Let's double check. YouTube, all engines go. Facebook, all engines go. I think we are good. Um, do I have visibility into your comments for later? I do. So, what's going on? If you're watching this for the first time, I'm Marcin. I have done photography for the last 17 years. Hold on, with 2026, it's now 18 years. And I every week I come here and I basically share something from the map of like when you're building a photography business, there's a lot that you have to a lot of hats you have to wear, right? So photography, a lot of folks when I talk to photographers that are starting out, they focus just on photography editing and they think it's like kind of end of the road. And it's, of course, it's not true, because there's business component, there's marketing component, there's funnel automation component, like there's a lot of stuff. But so it's almost feels like when you're starting that you have to drink from a hydrant, right? But if you slow down a little bit, you actually are going in stages. So never kind of compare yourself to somebody that's on level 38 if you're on level 2 or 3 or 4 or 8, right? Depending on how long you have been doing this. And in those sessions, I basically pull one of the I want to say golden DBs, right? Because there's no one silver bullet to resolve all of that mess. And I pull one of the golden BBs and I share it with you. Today we're staying on branding. Last time I was talking about creating digital assets. This is stuff that you share with your customers, with your clients, potential, future, past, because you want to bring the past clients also into your world, because it's all about lifetime value of your clients. So it's not just one time purchase. We got to make sure that we have another opportunity to work with them. So last time I was talking about assets, and today I wanted to talk about one common question that keeps bubbling up to the surface is content, right? So even though I did an episode or two on content, the other episode was more kind of angled on like how do your clients vibe with you, how do they connect with like who you are and your identity, and do they know about like your personal life, whether you should be showing your face. By the way, you should. People buy from people, they don't buy from brands. But the other episode was more about like how do people are attracted to you. This one is more, it's more of a tactical question and answer. It's more about like, all right, so I got to create content, but like, what do I say, right? And a lot of times, especially these days, people go and like, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT to write me a content, and it's so generic. And since everybody's doing it, it's just mess, right? So that's what I wanted to focus today's session on before we tap in. So we'll basically talk about content and what is it that you need to create content about. Before I dive in, always reminder, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching live on Facebook, you have an option of just leaving me a question there in the chat. Let me actually bring up the chat. That's a good reminder. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's see if I can see your comments live. 1 moment. All right, I think we're good. So on Facebook, you can leave your comments there if you have any questions. Same thing if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave your comments. I can always go back and just kind of see. It actually helps me tremendously because I know, kind of where the kink in the hose is. If you guys are stuck somewhere, I can look at the question, and next episode I can bring it up and just answer your question here in the next live or in one of the episodes. If you're looking for a way to get in touch with me, I'm just gonna quickly flash it on the screen here. Let's see if we can get. If you're watching on YouTube, you can just scan the QR code. This gets you basically to like where you can find me, which is like Facebook Messenger and other sources. If you're on Facebook, this is how you go to YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube channel, this is how you go to Facebook. So that's one thing. And also, not this link, but this link, proimageacademy.com/school, setting up a new community where with different levels. So if you're starting, there's going to be a level 1, which is essentially no paywall, everything is free. And this is basically a level where you can kind of start your business and get going, start charging with clients. And then depending on your growth and how fast you're growing, you can then decide to go to level 2 or level 3. You can work with me directly. You can work just by consuming like content or whatever. So there's different ways to do it, and this is how you get there. Now, back to our content. Let's see. I always try to share a slide deck with you guys, and it's not any different this time. Let me see. Let me switch over. Why is my equipment not cooperating with me today? All right, I think we're back. So let's take a look at slides. And let's see if we can pull them up. This is not what we need. We actually need our slide deck. So let's look at the scary sign that says ask. So where do we begin? When you guys create content, I actually there's something, maybe too early to say that, but I actually have like a nice method that you can simply just follow and create content that way. But let's start at the beginning. Stop guessing. Start getting booked. That's the title of the discussion today. If you're stuck in typically, if you haven't seen me doing this before, I typically go off of the slide and then I kind of ramble on to add additional context and answer any questions. But if you're stuck on what content to create, it's not a creativity problem, which a lot of times we think it is. It's a talking about yourself problem. You have a talent, obviously. You know what to like most of the cases. You guys know what to do with your cameras. You know what to do with your photography. It's just like you don't know how to sell it. So you do have a talent. You know your craft, but your messaging isn't connecting with the people who need to hire you. And when I was at the beginning of this journey, I was like, I guess I just post photos online, right? And if people react, I guess I have a conversation with them, like that rudimentary. But there is actually more to it. So today you'll get a sample of the Answer LED system that turns your website traffic, and I say website, but it's really social media, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, turns that traffic into actual bookings. Again, I always say no fluff, no guessing, just clarity that converts. Let me switch over to the next slide. And let's talk about a problem first. So when you start, you're usually, like when you think of creating a company, a photography business, where does your mind go first? Probably, like, at least that's what it was in my case. It was basically, I was thinking about two things. One was website and one was the logo. Okay. And the version of the website that I created first did not resonate with my clients because it was all about me, and nobody cares about me. Clients care, and I know it may be like a harsh reality, but this is how I always approach those sessions, because I want you guys to know the reality, to know the truth, because sometimes we can have a fantasy, we can imagine of how things should be, especially when we're at the beginning, we're trying to figure it out, we're guessing and then failing. Most of us are actually failing at the beginning, and that's what happened to me for about 2.5, almost 3 years. I was like, maybe this, because you're always like afraid to reach out to another photographer. It's this, it's this mental game we're playing with ourselves. We constantly think everybody's a competition, which, by the way, they're not. But the thing is, when we create the first version of the website, it's like, what are we going to talk about? And if you think of like a typical bed version of a website, and this is just skipping photography, a lot of times I go to like just pick a business, random business, and you go to their website and they tell you a little bit about exactly what they do or sell, whether it's a service or product. Like, it talks about the product, and then it usually talks about, like, it has pictures of their office, it has a picture of their staff, and that's about it. And like, so in a nutshell, I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to get photos done, and I'm going to this website, and the photographers very often, even if they have pictures, obviously, right? They talk about themselves. Usually, they talk about their accomplishments or even like awards. They talk about like the gear that they use, the AI, software or whatever that they have in place. They talk about themselves, and clients don't care about you as much as you think they do. They come in because they have a problem. They need somebody to take care of their photos, whether it's family, portraits, seniors, weddings, corporate, or whatever. They, in the end, when they are starting the journey of like, I gotta find somebody, they don't, and if they don't think immediately about you, they simply don't know you. They have no idea who you are. They may be browsing local photographers. They only care about resolving their problem, right? And when they land on your website, this is exactly what we have to focus on. And so focus less on you, focus more on resolving their problem. This is not to say, because it may sound contradicting, like, so are you saying show the face but don't show the face? Show the face, have some messages, or give them a little bit of, like who you are. Let's say on your social media, I use Facebook and YouTube as my primary channels. um, but tell them a little bit, maybe spend 20% talking about you and 80% about resolving the problem. So on this slide, let's just go quickly. Let's just look quickly. The fatal mistake: your website talks about you, not your client. Gear talk that doesn't matter. Pages about cameras, lenses, software specs. Your clients don't know what any of it means, and they quite frankly don't care. Another mistake that I see is photographers connecting genres. So at the very beginning, they're like, "Well, I don't have enough weddings, so I don't have enough portraits or not enough headshots to attract like one type of client." So they go, "I'm just gonna mix it all, right?" And imagine if a bride comes to to like book her wedding and sees that you're kind of all over the place. Like, are you really a wedding photographer? Not really, right? Are if somebody comes, let's say a corporate client, a local attorney wants to reach out because they want headshots of their team, and they land and it's all weddings and dogs and sunrises and other stuff. They will not treat you seriously. That's just a reality. So I always say, it's like, hey, so what's the solution? Because I really don't have enough stuff. I get it. So at the beginning, at least try to focus on, can we just say like people? So remove the landscapes, remove the sunsets, remove the dogs, remove the kids. You may leave the kids, but it's a sort of a different market, if you know what I mean. But like maybe let's say at the beginning with, if you took some pictures of your neighbor's kid or even your kid, right? Included on the website. If you took pictures, images at birthday party or something, then include those as well, because in the very end, you're taking images of individuals, you're taking portraits, right? So we can all bundle it in and say, hey, we're taking images of groups or individuals, but it's kind of all related. And then in the end, once you get more and more stuff, even if you focus on three different areas, you can always split it up and you can say, all right, I'm just gonna have maybe two websites or two sections of one website directed into weddings and then headshots. A lot of times photographers, what they do when they're kind of in between, they have almost like this landing screen that says, oh, okay, what are you here for? And then they either choose, let's say, weddings and headshots, or seniors and headshots, or whatever it may be. But later on, the goal is to just kind of separate it and just keep it separate. That's the best way. I always use the analogy of like I don't know, car dealership, right? You can probably, let's say you own a Ford, like ideal way to do it, or like most people at least would prefer to go to like a Ford dealership so they can just take care of it. They have all the parts and hopefully the knowledge to fix it. We are kind of iffy about locations that are like super cheap, little local shop that does everything, right, including motorcycles, cars, and whatever. Like it's just in your mind. And this is not to say the mechanics are bad. Quite frankly, there could be a better mechanic at this do-it-all shop than at your Ford dealership. But we're talking about perceived value of kind of how your client processes information. So this is very, very important. And then passion, paragraphs that fall flat. So I've loved photography since I was a kid. Sounds nice, but it doesn't answer the question. Can you handle my wedding? So a lot of times we just kind of ramble on and talk about our story, and it's like the client just they have a specific set of questions that you need to answer for them, and the challenge is like, is your website answering those questions, whether in FAQs, or maybe it has like a blog section where you can answer those questions. Maybe there's a dedicated section dedicated to answering a question. You get the point. And then pretty galleries with zero reinsurance, stunning images with no context, no proof. You can deliver under pressure. No proof, you can deliver under pressure, no answers to the fears keeping them from booking. So, and even a lot of times, especially when they don't know you, if it's a referral, it's a different story. But if it's not, if they're just searching around, then on your website, like, who is there to prove that you actually took the images, right? Maybe you were second shooting, maybe you only did one wedding, right? So those are the things that we have to answer. So like social proof, for example, on your website, maybe you have a couple of ratings on Google, but like you gotta, or Trustpilot, but like you gotta make sure that those things are included. Preferably, it would be nice to have photos of your past clients that leave you a quick review. Again, what if you're in a situation where you're like starting fresh and I don't really have anybody that can give me the review, right? In that case, just do photography for somebody that friends, family, and have them leave a review. So you can always do a trade, right? A lot of times when you're like it's this common model with like models that are starting out in the business, for example, in fashion. You're asking them to like, hey, can you model for me? I'll do the pictures, and like you walk away with with this benefit, and I walk away with the benefit. So it's like a win-win situation. Same thing with like when you have your circle of friends or family. You can say, hey, listen, I'm willing to just do family photos for you guys in exchange for a review, right? And this always works because social proof is top of the list for you guys. So just make sure that it's also included on your website. And then we have, here's the truth: clients don't need a flex. Remember, we like to talk about ourselves. I get it. But like, just kind of try to, dial it down a little bit and again, answer their questions. They need safety. They need to know you understand their concerns and can solve their problems. So let me advance to the next slide and talk about the next thing, which is what they actually want. It's the answers before they can trust you, because the name of the game is they need to like you, know you, and trust you. And by providing those answers, this is kind of how you win this game. So people don't hire the best photographer. This could be mind blowing. Like a lot of times, and this was with me at the beginning, I thought I had to be like a master of images. And remember, realistically, your clients know very little about like technical aspect of photography. Yes, they will look and they have to like your work. That's not questionable. But like, will they be able to determine that like when you're at a certain level, let's say you're charging 4,000, 5,000 for a wedding, this is a photographer that charges 12,000. Well, I can tell you right now from experience, there's not a lot of difference. There could be difference in editing, but like in terms of taking photos, what like I understand you could be super artistic, have a team, and it's a different approach, but like there, for your client, you may know, as photographers we judge, but for your client, especially if you're within a market segment where they're willing to pay 5,000-6,000, they will not be considering a photographer that charges 25,000, which, by the way, possible. I think the highest I heard was in person was $50,000 per wedding, but I'm sure it's higher now. Just different clientele, different market. And so people don't hire the best photographer. They don't judge the work technically. They hire the one who makes them feel secure. They need to understand that like you kind of get there, you get them. So the one who anticipated their concerns and addresses them before they even had a chance to ask. Your potential clients are scared, literally. Scared of picking the wrong person, scared of wasting their money, scared of being disappointed on their most important day, whether it's a corporate client with like families, little portraits, not such a big deal, but like weddings, corporate clients, when you help your friends with fashion shoots, right? All these people kind of rely on you, and they just want to know that like if they hire you, it's not really about money in the end. It's just like it could be the only opportunity, right? Like you can't tell the bride to walk down the aisle 3 times, so they want to make sure that like you're not going to miss moments, and that's what we do. We kind of grow into it, right? So we start small with portraits, headshots, family and groups and small events, and then we go further on. um so they are scared. They're there. The consultation is really there to like answer the questions, but even before they see you in person, it's you guys have to remember through your content, we're going to be answering those questions, and I promise we're going to be talking about content more specifically in a second. Their questions are your content roadmap. Very important. I highlighted it. Every inquiry email you've ever received, any question, any phone call, any text message with the question, that's I said blog post, but it's really social media post, right? So if you're on Facebook, if you have your business page, don't polish it. Don't go to ChatGPT and randomly start asking questions or telling ChatGPT to write your marketing content, because that's nonsense. Think about the problems that they have and then start answering them in your social media posts, whether you're doing videos, photos, content posts, and I'll talk about the differences a little later. But you can create a reel, you can create a story, a booking opportunity you didn't take. So next slide here. Not sure why we went to the image. Let me fix it. The big 5 topics that actually matter. Super, super, super important for you guys to know. I'll actually stop here for a second because I know I'm just rambling. If there's any questions that you have I'm just checking YouTube interface here, and I'll take a look at Facebook. Make sure you leave the comments, or if you have any questions, just stop me. I'll try to check here in a moment to make sure that I answer your questions. Well, let me just look at Facebook, check if there's anything there. I think we're good. All right, so going back to the slide here, the big 5 topics that actually matter. Stop creating random content. Focus on the 5 categories that answer the questions your clients are already asking. Everything else is noise. And guys, the more uncomfortable the question, the better it is. The more people will resonate with you. If you're honest, if you're people, we have this nice, great sense of like kind of detecting bullshit. I'll be direct here, and it's like you just have to say it how it is. If clients if they want to talk about pricing, just talk about the price. If they want to talk about the contract, talk about the contract. Because, and I'll give you an example. I actually did an episode on the channel where I actually walk you through my session, how I talk to clients, like the whole thing, the entire agenda. But the thing is, quickly, when they come in, obviously it's like photographers usually leave the price question for the end of the meeting. And it's like, you don't have to do it. They can sit down and it's like, hey guys, sit down. I know you probably have a lot of questions, right? But like usually clients kind of get itchy and they don't even pay attention to what I'm saying until I tell them the price. Let me tell you the price, right? And then I say, you know what, for an average package, like clients pay $4,000, right? And it varies because depending on what they like, are they going with crazy albums? The price will go up. Am I forcing everybody to pay the same price? No. Well, it really depends on what you're doing. And this is exactly what we're going to talk about today. But at least you have an understanding so that now you can relax. You can grab your drinks or your coffee, whatever they have in front of them. And you can just relax. You can listen to me. And this way, and literally, I got to tell you, I have done over 230 or 240 meetings, and you literally see them like deflate. So because it's this like there's this sensation of being relaxed, like, oh, okay, good. Like we know the prices, right? So, and sometimes another thing is like if it's not the price, it's like we kind of know the price, but like we need to know when are we going to pay. So if I I may say something like, hey, so here's the price. And I may say, any other questions about the price? Like, do you guys immediately want me to just like hit it off the park and tell you like the payments or something? Like, are you interested? And sometimes they'll say like, usually it's the groom chiming in, and they're like, yeah, can you tell us more? And I'll say, hey, here's the split. Here's how you pay. You pay the deposit. You pay, either depends on what it is, but like they usually pay a deposit and then they pay before I deliver the photos, right? There's a split. And now they know. There's like they relax, they grab a coffee. Now they don't have to. So it's like very, very important to be honest, to be transparent. You're not there to convince anybody to buy. You're there to persuade somebody to buy. And this is what you're doing, not just in the meeting. This is what you're doing in your content. You're actually sharing your stuff. I mean, obviously, yes, you want the sales. That's without a question. But let me tell you, if you're trying too much, if you're pushing too hard, you're not going to get it. Like they can just sense, like when you're walking into a car dealership and you see this guy running towards you, like what kind of, just think of a feeling. You probably can get the feeling right now just thinking about it, right? And that's exactly what happens with your clients, right? So no pushy sales. You're not trying too hard. Same with your content. Usually photographers go out there and it's like, oh, I see the posts on Facebook all the time where it's like, oh, I do photography, I do whatever, I do weddings, I do portraits, I do headshots, I do communions, and like, call me. Like, nobody cares, dude. You have to actually call, just kind of get into this. It's kind of like dating. Nobody wants to marry you after a first date, first time they see your stuff. So you have to date for a little bit, right? They have to actually see that you're a normal human, you're a person, you're a human being. And when they consume enough of your stuff, they gain the confidence. Usually when I get the initial reach outs from the clients, nobody calls me and like, hey, Marcin, I just want to book right now, send me the contract. Never happens. I usually get an email, and best case scenario, I got to tell you, best case scenario, it may be like let's schedule something for next week. That happens rare. Most of it happens like 2 weeks out, sometimes a month out, sometimes longer. Sometimes it could be months. Sometimes it could be 3 months, 4 months, 5, and this is just from when they reach out, but they may be in your world prior to that, looking at your content, and this is your opportunity. Like, think of it. You have an opportunity to talk to them, and that's exactly what you need to do with your content. So back to Big Five, back to the slide. Pricing, what's included. So that's one of the things the clients is just kind of petrified to ask. They always wait until the last minute. Totally okay to say it. Totally okay to list it on your website. You remember, you also, by posting the price, when you're honest, there's no hiding. There's no like, well, it depends. I hate that answer. It's like, well, it depends. I mean, I know it depends, but it really depends on the structure of your packages, because you should know your packages. You shouldn't be fluctuating kind of all over the place, because people detect and eventually they'll catch the drift, and it's just not a good principle. But the thing is, pricing is one of those things. The elephant in the room. Address it head on with ranges, packages, and what they actually get for their investment. So just make sure you're kind of prepared for that, and be okay to talk about it. If they hate your work, what if they love your work, love your price, but hate you as a person? It's like totally okay. They're still not gonna, they still won't buy, right? So it's the three things that I always talk about. It's like there's no science. They have to like you, they have to like the work, they have to like the price, and that is it. Period. Problems and fears. All the kind of like what if scenarios, keeping them up at night, rain, timeline, disasters, kind of looking awkward in pictures, any family drama. With family drama, I can tell you, like Joanna, my wife, if you're watching this for the first time, very often she's around to manage the portraits, the people, the arrangements. And we always ask the question. We're like, hey, is there any family drama? Like literally we say that. We say, hey, is there, and bride and groom, they're already, especially at the wedding, but like even during consultations, if you ask this question, like, hey guys, I have to ask, is there any family drama like that we have to watch out for? And usually doesn't happen during consultation. I should take it back. It usually happens in a conversation before the wedding, let's say. So when they reach out, I usually reach out like a month before. We have a little timeline. I call them and I say, okay, this is what it looks like. Those are the times. Is there any family drama you need to care about? Like sometimes parents are divorced. Sometimes they don't want to be in pictures together. Like you have to ask, because otherwise you're setting yourself for failure. Like you're showing up, and the people are just voicing their opinions. It kind of gets weird. You can tell in the pictures. So it's another thing. And let me tell you, whenever I ask, and if there's no drama, they don't care. They're like, oh, no, no, no. Great. If there is a drama, that those clients resonate. They're like, oh my god, thankfully, like thank God you asked, because and then then they go on for like 10 minutes telling me about family drama. So it's just another one of those examples. Comparison, why you versus others, and remember, actually, let me leave it. Let me read this first, and then I'll say something. Why you versus others? What makes your approach different? How do different package levels compare? I mean, the package should be sort of self-explanatory in a way, but you can explain. Those are always good for even in your content. You can answer those questions. Why you versus others? Sometimes when I especially want to address those of you guys that are like early in the process. There's a benefit with every position that you're in. If you're advanced photographer, you charge a lot. It's like when the client comes later on, like in 2, 3, 4 years, you can say, when they're comparing you to like another kid that really knows what they're doing with their camera, right? Let's say they're good. Let's just assume that. And client sees and they'll tell the difference between like photos, right? They're like, well, they kind of look the same, but like he charges more. Being at the top, right? You can say, well, I'm experienced, obviously, I've done this for whatever. Like this other kid, Joey, has no clue. He's just starting, like a lot of risk. And then you can convince client this way. On the other hand, Joey can say, hey, look at the photos. It's all the same work. You're going to save a lot of money by going with me because I'm starting with my portfolio. I'll be paying extra attention. Like to Marcin, you're just one of 60 clients that he handles. Like you're just a number, right? This is with me, like you're one of my 3 or 4. Like I'm just gonna go over and beyond. And if you want to like do a test shoot, maybe engagement shoot before the wedding, I'd be more than happy to do it. Where like Marcin may not have the time to do it, and quite frankly, I wouldn't do it if I don't get paid at this point. But you see how like depending on where you are, you have an angle. You have the better angle, right? So it really depends on how you sell it. So this is how to handle that question. And then what's the number 4 here? Reviews and social proof. What past clients say, real stories, specific wins, prove that you deliver what you promise. As people, we are wired to listen to stories. This is how we learn. We're going deep into psychology, right? But the thing is, we are wiring our brain based on stories. We see things happening. We have stories associated. Like we have records of those, and this is kind of how we perceive the world, right? So with you showing the images on the website, like that's only part of the story. They can see visually what's going on. But if you simply go and like tell about this client or like what happened, or even if you go and like, hey, let's say you only booked one client, you worked with your sister's kid for the senior portraits, right? You went through this experience. It was a free experience. Your future client doesn't know, but you can basically sit at the table with this person, and you already kind of know what happened. You know the agenda, and you can kind of speak from that angle, telling them like, oh, you know what? There's a couple of things we have to talk about before I work with you. So like one thing is like we have to make sure that we're going to do it at the right time because the sun. I just did a session. You don't have to say how many sessions you did previously, maybe just one, but like, hey, I did this one session and the light wasn't good. It was direct light, straight, and she was squinting her eyes. So like we have to make sure we do that. Also, when she showed up, maybe she had one of the outfits that she chose was like a super busy pattern. So like we have to make sure that like, hey, all you guys are wearing is maybe solid, maybe like a combination of 3 colors, but like busy colors are actually not good for photography. So you can say that, right? Another thing you can say, hey, It could be time of the day. It could be what you're going to be wearing. If somebody's coming, let's say you have a family with like a kid, it's like, hey guys, we have to cover this one thing because we're with kids. Kids are, anti-photography really. And maybe just make sure that you have water, that you have snacks for the kids. Maybe bring something that the kid likes if it's like a 2 or 3 year old, so I can kind of wave it in front of my camera as we're kind of doing it. So you guys can see like those stories, like based on a story, you can automatically like relate. And as a client, you're sitting there, it's this guy knows what he's talking about. Like he has done it in the past, right? And when I was talking about like the fear and the clients and like them being iffy, this is exactly what you're addressing, because they have those like mental questions, mental check marks they have to hit when they're with you talking, and that's exactly what we need to help them with. It's like, I got you there. What's the next question? Got you there. When I sit down during my consultations, a lot of times it's me answering questions, right? So like, I'm just gonna briefly say, because this is the same thing I do with my content. I talk about the package. I talk about different elements in my package. I talk about the logistics of the day, kind of just high level. And I talk about different, things that happen throughout the day. That's my content. It's basically like what happened. And if you're, maybe you have never shot a wedding before, right? It's like, can you second shoot with somebody? Have you ever attended a wedding? Will you be attending a wedding? Like, if you know chronologically what happens, like I'm sure you have seen a wedding. If not, rent a movie and watch one. But the thing is, the client needs to just know that that you kind of understand the logistics. Okay, so he knows about the cake. Oh, so he knows about the first dance. Oh, so he knows that there's father and daughter dance, or oh, he knows that like there could be family kind of logistics, right, to handle drama. That's all they need to hear. And the thing in content and consultation, we have to answer those mental questions. Best of guides, best locations, best timelines, best seasons, best packages. Help them make informed decisions with your expertise. It's always good to give recommendation to a client, especially somebody lands in your world. Maybe they're on your Facebook, maybe on your Instagram or whatever. You can create a carousel, you can create a post, you can create an image, kind of answering those questions. Maybe there is a best location around you where people typically take photos. Maybe there is best time where you can talk about golden hour. Maybe there is the best season. And let me tell you, every season you can say the upcoming season is the best season, right? And then you can figure like all of us can figure out what are the good things about the upcoming season, where with the snow we can have fun, in the summer everybody knows, in spring the world is awakening, in the fall the leaves. And so it's like every time you run a promotion, it's like, hey guys, fall is coming, it's the time to blah blah blah, right? So so this is exactly what we're doing with our content. So you can see the big five here, and I'm going to switch the slide. I'm going to just take a look at the Facebook. I don't think we have any questions here. So I'm going to continue moving on. Radical honesty sells. So I'm going to repeat myself probably here, but let's just go through it. Transparency wins every time. Be honest. Like that's if I can give you one piece of advice, be honest. If you're starting, if you're at the beginning, if you're in the middle, if you're whatever, like be honest with your client, because you're dealing with people and people can tell if you're honest or not. So say the thing you're avoiding, price ranges, your process limitations, what you don't offer, the things you're scared to mention are exactly what builds credibility. I got to tell you, I had one client that came in and she brought samples of work that I don't know was appealing to her, and couple images there were like, I don't know if you guys use it or today. Or if you remember, but there was like a period where black and white pictures were popular with something like a selective color technique, right? Where the whole picture is black and white and like the rose is red or something. I never did it. Will never do it. I don't like it. Quite frankly, I hate it. And it's okay. This is my style. You may be doing only this work, right? And the client was like saying, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, hey, I can do pretty much most of it here, but it's not like I'm trying to replicate anybody. If you have work, if you have a style in mind that's appealing to you, and it's different from mine, I'm going to actually recommend you to somebody that can do it. And let me tell you, this person will become your billboard. It happened to us more than once. I had a client once also that came in and she wanted to, she wanted to design like a series of canvases with like flying doves and books and 3D shapes. And I said, that's not us. That's just not what I do. And this is exactly when we talk about style. Like it's the style is like a fluffy word, but it's basically your preference on how you're doing things, and there's a group of people that also will like that way the way you're doing your thing. So there's if you drive an Audi or a Volkswagen or a Hyundai or a pickup truck, there's a bunch of other people that drive a pickup truck or a Hyundai. Do everybody drives a Hyundai or pickup truck? No. And this is exactly when we were talking about style. Don't be afraid. It's okay to develop your own style. And do I want to go on more on this? Well, I'll say this. Over time, you're going to be trying different things, seeing other photographers doing stuff, and then eventually you will end up with a series of images that you like, and that is your style. That's it. So if you're looking for a sign, that's just it. So you can talk about your limitations, address objections before they ask. I know you're wondering about is a powerful phrase. When you bring up concerns first, you control the narrative and eliminate doubt. So a lot of times in my content, I say, hey, folks usually ask about this, or folks are usually wondering about that, or brides are usually concerned about this. And I just talk about it. I don't polish it. I don't make it perfect. I just simply answer the question, because nobody really cares how you present the information. They only want to be heard. So if they have those mental questions and those questions are answered, it doesn't really matter if you have production equipment to answer those questions. It matters that you create like a literally 60-second reel and talk about it. Trust goes up when you stop hiding. Clients can smell vagueness from a mile away. The photographers who's upfront about everything, that's the one they feel safe with. Totally. That's the one they will book. Totally true, guys. What else we got here? Education first, pitch second. So it kind of, this goes hand in hand for your content. Teach before you pitch. I do the same thing, and about being transparent. Let me flag this, because this is what this is exactly what I do with my clients. So when I create those videos, whether lives or normal YouTube videos, the idea is to work with people, right? Whether I bring them in and they're in school taking the free stuff, whether they are taking the learning the content and we work in a group, whether they work with me individually. I just wanted to flash this one more time, if it only works. If you're on YouTube, you can scan it. Well, if you're on Facebook and watching on desktop, you can also scan it. But this is how you can find those different environments. And make sure you leave comments so I can respond. Back to the slide, I was saying, teach before you pitch. I do the same thing. So before I work with anybody, like, I want you guys to have a taste of kind of what you're getting into. So when we get together, it's like, you have a problem, I can identify what it is and I can fix it immediately. If you work with me one-on-one, right? If you work in a group, it's the same. It's just you have 3 people present, right? Or depends on what it is, right? But the thing is, I always provide information up front, and then we can talk about anything else, because it's like, and this is exactly what you have to do with your content. So I do it on with these videos. I do it on YouTube or Facebook, but I also do it in my content. I do it on TikTok. I do it on Instagram. Do you have to do it all at the beginning? No. Don't try to be omnipresent. Focus on one platform first for 1 year. That's the rule I always give to my students, my clients. If you can leverage some stuff, sure, do it, but you have to feel confident. So like, if you're on Facebook and Instagram all the time, it's okay to use 2 platforms. If you have no idea what, like TikTok, don't feel it, don't like it, then stay away. You work your way through, because with one platform you can get to 100K guaranteed. That's just what it is. Like a lot of times people think they have to be all over the place to make decent money. Like, not a worry at all. You can, on one platform, you can achieve that. So teach before you pitch. This is exactly answering questions by posting stuff. Give your potential clients a mini win, something actionable they can use right now, whether they hire you or not. So even if you give, let's say, a PDF with like, hey guys, clients, brides, whoever, corporate clients, business, local businesses, when you're planning, when you have your business established, let's say you're doing like a local business and they know nothing about like branding and you're trying to take photos of like local businesses, you can literally in your marketing material, email, or when you approach them in person, say, hey guys, like you guys have been here for a while. Let's talk about branding because I can provide you with photography services that brings the image up. The company looks more professional, right? More serious to like their clients, because they need to understand they don't care that you want to take photos and make money. They care, how is that going to help them? And that's exactly what you're going to do. So and you have to teach them, that brand matters, that image matters, right? With brides, you can say, hey guys, when you're planning your, maybe your formal photo session for the wedding, here's the things you need to consider. Here are the things that you have to think about. Here are the poses that are the most 10 top poses, right? So remember when I said the best of? So you can provide those documents, and this is something that, like, over time, when they get one piece of information, another one, you will win the game of being the photographer they hire, just because there's another photographer that's just sitting there with his website and his work, hoping that they will call, and that's why most of the people lose this game. What to do before their session, those are just a couple ideas here. What to avoid when choosing a photographer, what to expect on the day of, how to prepare for better photos, like I kind of talk about wardrobe and timing and preparation and snacks for kids. Make them feel smarter and calmer. When they learn from you, they lean toward you. When you solve small problems for free, they trust you with the big problems. This is how you get booked. So that's that. And let me see if is there another slide? One clear answer, one real booking. What happens if it rains on our wedding day? Oh, that's a big one. I want to actually talk about this one. How far in advance should we book? These aren't glamorous questions. They won't go viral, but one clear, thoughtful answer will build trust faster than 20 beautiful gallery photos ever could. Remember that. You're dealing with people. People buy from people. It's an interaction. It's a conversation, right? They have to feel it, right? So the best content isn't the content that gets the most likes. It's the content that makes someone think, this person gets it. This person gets me. I'm reaching out. That's exactly what happens. And I can tell you, I'll give you an example because I saw the what if it rains. In my consultation, every single time I would bring up, this question of like, because brides are planning in their head, they have a whole thing like, oh, we're going to stop there. This is the location for the formals. And they're just going 150 miles an hour. And and they have a plan A, but I say, hey, what's plan B? And some of them, like less than 20% would react to this question. Most of them would be like deer in the headlights. Like, what plan B? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what if it rains? Well, it rains sometimes. Right. And they're like, oh my God. Right. Like, oh my God. I can tell you with that one single question, like it probably made thousands and thousands of dollars, this one stupid question, because the brides were like, oh, you're right. Oh my God. Right. And then I say, hey, it gets better. There is a location where we can actually shoot. There's one alternative one, another alternative one. Here's what you have to do. Here's a number to the lady that works there. Call her, book it now, a year in advance when we're talking now. And because you have to make sure, because otherwise they're going to run out of time slots. And you just got to make sure that you're good. And hopefully we'll never get to go to plan B, but like at least you're all set. Guys, like this is, I get like, goosebumps talking about it because I saw the reactions of the brides. They're like, holy shit. Like not only we didn't think about it, but like, I wouldn't even know who to call, where to go, this lady. And, just because like over time you gain that knowledge, you do 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, after like 10 shoots, you get the idea. Like, right? Scientifically, it's like you spend 20 hours on something, you have a pretty good understanding. So you're going to have those little tidbits of information where you can trade with a client. And I got to tell you, this is immediate sell. Like I can talk about other stuff. They don't care anymore. Like they're like, this guy knows his stuff because of just what was presented to me, just a second ago. So very important. Next slide here is your move. Pick one question, publish it everywhere. Starting today, and there's like 3 steps here. Create a 60-second video. Answer one of those big 5 questions we were talking about. So answer one big 5 question clearly on camera. Post it as a reel, TikTok or YouTube short. No fancy editing required. I know as I'm talking, most of you are probably petrified because you're here video. Let's talk about it in a second. Then we have write one post, strong headline, 3 clear bullets. No more, guys. Don't confuse people. People can only handle a small amount of information. 3 is the sort of magic mark. And then simple call to action where they can get more information, where they can call you, where they can reach you, where they can check more information. Share it on Instagram, Facebook, and your blog. I say blog, but like blogs are sort of going away because most of the websites already have something. But if you're big in SEO for the search engine optimization, or now AI is enter the picture, then I would definitely advise it. It's just not at the beginning. Share one story, quick talking clip addressing the question. Question box asking, what else do you want to know? Engage in real time. When I started the session, right, I always say, hey guys, ask me questions because I need to understand. Like I need to understand your pain points. People don't use it. People don't think of it as like leverage. Like totally, I can you can leave a question and I can answer it. And people, for whatever mental block, they don't reach out. But it's like very important in your content when you talk about one thing. It's like, hey, let me know what else. And it's like they ask you the question, and now you answer their exact question, right? Without guessing what they are wondering about. So important. Your assignment right now: choose one big 5 question your ideal client has asked or should be asking. Answer it today in under 200 words. No polish, no perfection, just clarity that converts. Use ChatGPT if you have to, but like at the beginning, and then try to add your own language, your own words. A lot of times when those tools produce content, they sound very synthetic until you train them. When I work with students, I actually show them how to train their own custom ChatGPT to sound exactly like them with the phrases, the words, the tonality, just so it's like you writing the content. But that's really where you should be starting. So, and one thing for those of you that, if you're watching until the end, I want to reward you. So if you need some sort of like a roadmap for the content, I remember I was at Funnel Hacking Live in Orlando 3 years ago. And there was this chick that was totally killing it with content. And she had this like content map. It's an Excel file that she shared with everyone. And it basically, it's a sort of like a nice layout because a lot of times we're good in creating like 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 content pieces, and then we sort of run out of steam. Her thing was basically, which I use, it was basically like, think about maybe, let's use wedding as an example. Think about like different segments in the wedding, like preparation, ceremony, formals, reception, right? Delivery of the photos. Think of it that way. So like have the 5 categories, and then you can on top of it apply more categories. So for each one of those, you can have like, okay, so let's say it's preparation. What do I educate my client on? Preparation. What entertainment wise, what can I post? Like a picture, a post, an article that I saw. Then you go through like ceremony, same thing. What can I educate them on? What can I entertain them on? What can I, so it's like, and not only that, now you're building this map of like for content that focuses specifically on one problem somewhere, right? On the timeline. Same with corporate clients, same with family portraits, same with headshots, same with product photography. And you're basically building those main categories, main pillars. And then on top of it, every single piece of content. So let's say you have a topic now, you can write a post, you can do an image, you can create a reel, you can do a longer video, maybe like a 2-minute video. And to address the video, I don't know what the conversion rate is right now, but it's like a 10x multiplier. I think it's like a 16x multiplier between what they read and what they watch. Video just absolutely kills. It's for you to decide. Nobody tells you or forces you to do anything on video. but I need you to understand that like video, if there's another photographer in your area that's doing video content and you're not, just don't be shocked that he's getting more traffic, more eyeballs, because it just our psychology. Not that he's better, he's just doing the right content. So that's the, again, I'm just transparent about it. So back to the content map, it's like you have the main pillars, you have the mid categories, and then you have the format of content, PDF file, video. Like I can actually provide it to you. I think I may actually drop it in the Skool community, have you guys join the community. So if you need it, I can also send it to you directly. If you leave a comment, I can reach out and send it to you. And this is, I think, it. You have your homework. You know about content, what to do, how to do it. If you have any questions, you can always leave it. Other than that, I think we're good for today. I don't have a topic for next week. I think there's one more that I wanted to cover on branding, because I'm setting up something special inside Skool community again. I know it sounds like a sales pitch, and it is. But the thing is, I'm building stuff around branding, and I think next episode is also, I can't remember what it was. Well, you need to join me next week to find out. But thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys paying with time. I hope you have happy Thursday, the remainder of Thursday. Enjoy. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.